old, I decided I would save up money for my own ransom. I grew up in Italy in the 70s, where the kidnappings were kind of a daily occurrence by the mafia. And the kidnapping trend started with the first abduction of J. Paul Getty III's grandson. And one morning, my father is sitting at the kitchen table, and suddenly he punches a newspaper and throws it in front of me open and says, "Well, I wouldn't pay the ransom either." And he gets up, gulps down his shot of espresso, breakfast of champions, Italian, and he leaves the room. Now, apparently J. Paul Getty didn't want to pay for the release of his grandson because he thought that this would start a trend. And not to mention the fact that he had 14 other grandchildren. And he was right, this did start a trend. But anyway, I'm appalled that this man is not going to pay for the release of his grandson, and I'm doubly appalled that my father just agreed with him. So I look down at the paper and I see the picture of the boy's ear. Now the mafia cut off the boy's ear and sent it by mail to the Italian police along with a lock of his hair as a warning to tell them that they were serious. Now they were going to kill the boy if they didn't get the money. By the way, it was sent by mail, and the Italian mail system was on strike, so the ear arrived a little bit later than expected. So, you know, my father was bigger than life. He was, every glance, every movement was of histrionic nature. He was the actor, and I was the spectator. He loved fine tailored suits, silk shirts, well-polished shoes. I mean, you have to be able to see your reflection in them, he used to say. He had the style of Don Draper with the rage of De Niro in Goodfellas. So, you know, life with him was not easy. He couldn't talk about his feelings. And one day, my mother left when I was 5, and one day he walks into the room, and my mother left, and without a goodbye, without a note, never to return back into our lives again. And he comes into my room, and he's carrying a white box. And I ask, "Where's Mommy?" And he says, he kneels down to my eye level, and he says, "You are never to mention that name again. You understand? Don't even think that. Now open the box." So I open the box, and here is a doll with coarse blonde hair and her arms stretched out into the void, looking at me. And he says, "Look, if you press a button on her back, she can just walk away." And he leaves the room. Well, the next day, I cut that bitch doll's hair off, and I tear the arms out of her sockets. So, my father wasn't easy, but he was the one who helped me lace up my boots in the morning before school. He was the one who read me before bed. He was the one who sang to me, "Are you lonesome tonight?" He was the one who would take me to the bar, and he would order a Campari and soda for him, and a Coke and a lemon wedge with no ice for me. But living with him was like walking through a landmine. You never knew when he was going to be set off. The only time that I felt that I really bonded with him was when we watched TV every Saturday night, that little black and white TV, every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We watched all of Sergio Leone's westerns, A Fistful of Dollars, Once Upon a Time in the West, and we loved the good, the bad, and the ugly. We were big Clint Eastwood fans. And that's how he wished to live his life. He wanted to be the leading man and not the spectator. So I loved my father very much, and especially after my mother left. And I didn't want to upset him by letting the mafia kidnap me. And if they ever succeeded, I was going to pay for my own ransom. So I had to come up with a plan. Birthday money from my nonna and my aunt just came to a few thousand liras. It didn't amount to much. It was a far cry from the $17 million for ransom for J. Paul Getty. So I couldn't figure out what to do until one day my father picked me up early from school. And he says, we're going to Switzerland, get in the car. So I get in the car and he hands me a money belt. He said, put this under your sweater. Opens a briefcase, pulls out notes, banknotes, and starts shoving them down my money belt. Now, I'm a pretty skinny kid, and by the time we're done, I look like I had too many cannoli, okay? And I noticed that the money is different from the liras I have been saving. The money looks exactly like the money from the Westerns. And I say, what kind of money is this? And he says, dollars. He says, and if the border police stops us, we tell them we're going to Switzerland to buy chocolate. Okay, so we do this 2-3 times, and every time, on the way back, he buys me chocolate bars, until one day I pluck up enough courage and I say, on top of the chocolate, you need to give me a cut of the money. He looks at me, I look at him, he looks at me back. I look at him. This is the final showdown. And he smiles. And he says, you love your papa, don't you? I said, no, but that's beside the point. He hands me a fistful of dollars, puts his arm around me, and he says, let's go for a ride. I was his accomplice. I was no longer his minion. I was Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef. We were the good and the bad. We were Blondie and Angel Eyes. And that's how I got my money.